Hi, my name is Gina Worthy. I have a consulting practice that I have had for probably about the last 15 or so years. I came to Ramit by way of, I think, some material with Tim Ferriss and read a lot of his information for a couple years before I actually took a look into the courses themselves. The first course that I saw that was of interest to me actually was around Earn1k. At the time, I just was kind of looking at just some of the information it had, but I was kind of in a different place. At the time when I was looking to launch an online business, I had found Zero to Launch. Ramit was going into the process of launching. There was another program by a woman blogger that runs a similar type of program. And so I really liked the fact of how Ramit is pretty much no nonsense, and that's kind of how I roll, basically. So I knew there was also another step in between Zero to Launch that I felt like I needed to have before I was ready to really launch an online business. So I remember, reading about Earn1k, and of course I had to wait until it was relaunched again. And so sometime around the beginning of summer of 2014 is when the Ramit's email launches started to come out, and I literally was like devouring every email, reading through it, studying it, seeing how other people used it, and then tried to use that as a guide for how I was going to potentially strategize and use the material. So as those emails were coming out, I remember one of the emails was about the briefcase technique. And so I was looking to negotiate a contract at the time. I had gotten the contract, but I said, well, let me go ahead and try this whole briefcase technique, regarding the pay. So I went ahead, used the briefcase technique, did research on the company, really built a case for why, number one, they needed to pay me more, but how I knew directly the issues and the problems that their company was having and the solution that I was going to put in place for them. So based upon the free material with Earn1k, I was able to negotiate up that contract 10%, which at the time, that may not seem like a whole lot, but it was like a huge accomplishment for me, knowing that I was going to end up buying the program and utilizing the information. So I got the free part of it, and it worked in my favor, which made it that much more exciting for me to go ahead and buy the program, which I did. And so when I bought the program summer of 2014, there was another contract I was starting the process of pitching my idea, meeting with the board, and a lot of what in Earn1k talks about, where when it gets to the point where in a contract you're talking money, and Ramit would talk about how you want to try to get away from so much talking about the dollars and cents, because whoever puts up the first amount first is kind of like the loser in the process. So I remember when I was meeting with the board of directors for the organization I wanted to contract with, they had asked, well, what's, how much do you charge, or how much are we going to have to pay you? And so I turned the conversation around to more of a value-based discussion, which is what Ramit talks about in Earn1k. So talking about how, really you get what you pay for, and if you're looking for high value and someone that's going to kind of deal with, and I named out like the specific issues and I knew they were going to have and how I would be able to solve them, then basically like you're paying for really great value, and value doesn't necessarily have a price that's attached to it, even though obviously it does. So I was able to score the contract, which initially the contract was a $60,000 contract. And so in the process of securing it, I then negotiated with the CEO an additional $10,000 on top of the actual contract amount. So with Earn1k, I would definitely say that it allowed for me to really change the conversation about the contract and the money portion, to score the contract, number one, and then to have more of the confidence to negotiate an additional $10,000. So after actually I finished the first full year, which I'm coming into the second year of the contract, we're going into negotiations again, and so I was able to then negotiate up the contract amount another $10,000. So by the time it was all said and done, I was looking at a $80,000 contract. And that's just for one client. So amazing work. That's allowing for me to do some getting national visibility around what I do, as well as some policy and dealing with a lot of politicians in the work that I'm doing. So Earn1k definitely earned me a lot more than just 1K. It was more like 80K plus the 10% increase in the initial contract that I was scoring at the time when I first started Earn1k. So I want to thank Ramit, shout out, whoop, whoop. I started zero to launch, so oof, sister girl's working with that, so we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited about what the outcomes will be considering the outcomes that I've had with Earn1k. So thanks so much. Bye.